Shout out to my face for deciding that today was a good day to break out. I've been looking for a thriller to actually thrill me for months now. Ever since I read The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, I have been obsessed with finding something that can match up to that level of gasp value. By gasp value, I mean I was literally gasping as I was listening to it walking down the street. Now, half of that was because of shock of the book, and the other half was just because I'm really unfit. Nonetheless, I read a couple different thrillers these last few months, but all of them have just been very meh. I was just really looking for something to make me feel something, you know, because I am a little bit dead inside. So I went and watched Gabby's Thriller-a-thon Thriller Recommendations live show, and one of the recommendations was I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid, which I read, and I just need to talk about it because what? Whoever recommended it said that it gave them physical chest pains while they read it. I don't know why that's something that I am wanting in a book, but I think I'm just like morbidly curious to see if that is like a feeling that I can have while reading. I did feel very unwell while I was reading it, and now I'm going to talk about it and tell you why, because I guess I finally succeeded in finding a thriller book that thrilled me. Having said that, did I rate it 5 stars? No. And I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to put up a spoiler card when I get to spoilers, so just be aware that that will be coming up eventually. But if you haven't heard of this book, it is starting from a girl's point of view, and she's thinking of ending things with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is a professor at a university, I think it's university, and he's kind of like a lean, intellectual, lanky, sort of nerdy guy, which she's really into. But the first half of the book is mostly them having these sort of intellectual, pseudo-philosophical conversations about life and relationships, and whether, you know, people really are better off living alone or if they're better off in a relationship, which is a theme that becomes relevant later on. And basically the story is about the girlfriend going to meet the parents of her boyfriend at their childhood farm, and the whole way along she's thinking, oh, should I end it, or oh, should we keep dating? I don't know. And that's all I can really say without spoiling anything. It's really hard not to give this book away. The synopsis on this book is some of the most dramatic things I have ever read. The synopsis basically just says, you'll be scared and you won't know why. And that is so dramatic and juicy. I was like, yes. I think the type of uneasiness that Ian Reid pulled off is really, really difficult to write, because it's kind of like the creepiness that you don't quite know why you're scared, but it's in that sort of way where it's not like anyone's going around murdering anyone or anything like that. It's more of that person's smile stretches way too far across their face and I don't like it. Well, there's nothing like overtly creepy up until like the final parts. It just makes you feel like something is going to happen, and I don't think I've ever had that kind of a reading experience before. The twist at the end when it happened, I was confused. I had to go back and keep replaying the audiobook, which was not great because there's this one part in the audiobook where you just do not want to listen to it. It's very uncomfortable. The production value on this audiobook is fantastic, by the way. If you're even remotely interested in this, I would definitely give it a shot, because first of all, it's only 5 hours long. Second of all, listen to it on audio because you will not be disappointed. Though I will say the twist at the ending, someone like me who hasn't been too well versed in thrillers and horrors, it was still a bit of a shock. It wasn't something that I necessarily saw coming, but I think that looking back on it, I don't think it would have been too difficult to predict if you have read a lot of these stories before. Like, a seasoned thriller reader might not get as much out of this book as I did. Okay, I'm gonna go into spoilers now. So if you haven't read this book, or if you have an interest in reading this book, bye-bye. But if you want to stick around and just know what happens, welcome to the club. Okay, now that it's just us here by ourselves, I immediately after reading this went and searched for reviews, because it's the book that you read and then you put down and you're like, what did I just read? So let's talk a little bit about these creepy ass parents and their creepy ass painting dungeon. I think that the family visit aspect where they go to the farm was so well done, because that was the part where I felt the most uncomfortable without really being able to pinpoint why. It was partly, I guess, because of the parents' behavior. They were just saying weird stuff. Plus the boyfriend, who I forgot his name of, wasn't backing her up at all, so it was kind of like you were reading this woman's POV, but she has no idea what's going on either. Okay, so he and his parents were really shady the whole time. I did not trust him one bit. And you know shit's about to go down when they stop for milkshakes and the teenager serving the milkshakes is looking at them like, Oh, I did not like that bit at all because I was trying to figure out what was so they've gone to the farmhouse to meet the parents. Then he's weirdly saying that we need to stop off for milkshakes even though it's freezing cold. So he convinces her to stop off for milkshakes. And then the whole thing about him needing to find a garbage bin or something in the school. So he like starts looking around the school. I would have been so mad. Like, how is that girlfriend not as angry at this guy? Another thing, when I was listening to this, I was certain that this must have been written by a woman because some of the experiences that he writes about, like just being generally agreeable and more apologetic about the way that you're behaving and things like that, it's very female, like feminine problem. I mean, it's not a problem, but it's like a very female way of behaving because, patriarchy, and that's how we've been socialized to be. But I just thought it was very well done. I felt certain that this relationship that we've been following was based on a real relationship, at least parts of it, because it just felt very real. It felt like this author had those experiences. Yeah, anyway, good job, Ian Reid. And the entire school scene where she gets out of the car and is wandering around the dark was horrific. If you are female, you will understand like the kind of fear walking around in the dark by yourself in a creepy school. It's like that moment when you're walking in the car park to your car in the dark alone and you have like that kind of fear kind of flash through you. That was like that entire little scene there. So the boyfriend comes back to the car and then they both start making out, and then the boyfriend sees somebody inside the school watching them make out in the car. He gets really angry and is like, I'm gonna go beat him up, which what? So I thought that was kind of weird that he just went to go beat him up. Oh, hi. No, that's mine. Hi, doggy. Oh, she hit her head. You're right there? Yeah. So the girlfriend goes and follows after him, and then just shit goes crazy. I was so confused. I had to go back and listen to what was happening like 3 or 4 times. But, like I said earlier, the production was fantastic. I was listening to this book in the dark by myself, and that was such a bad idea because you get to that one part and you'll know what I'm talking about if you read it. But basically, the twist is the girlfriend and the boyfriend and the janitor have all been the same person this whole time. So basically, those farm parents that we went to meet, their son was this super smart, super intellectual guy who like couldn't really connect with anybody socially. Like he had some issues, and then he also had some mental illnesses, and so he's made up all of the other characters in this book. He's made up the girlfriend, he's made up the janitor, and so the girlfriend is being chased through the school by the janitor, which is basically all happening in this guy's head. And the way that's revealed is the girlfriend keeps saying this one line over and over. I can't remember what the line is, but basically she just says it over and over, and then as she's saying, she says it like 20 times, and it's so scary. It doesn't sound scary, but it is. It gave me chills. I said, oh no. And even weirder was this male voice was coming in and sort of like started saying the lines with her and then like overtook her lines, and I was like, what is going on right now? What is happening? And then you kind of piece it together, but it was very confusing. Anyway, I was listening to that part with my noise cancelling headphones on. It was dark because the sun had just set and I was too lazy to go put my lights on. Oh, the audio production was so good. And when her voice started repeating things like over and over, I was feeling actually nauseous. But yeah, my face went from this, playing a game on my phone, to this. Oh, no. Okay, I have to say, I feel a little mixed about the ending because on the one hand, you can go back and look at some of the previous scenes where they talk about like being alone versus being in a relationship, and it adds another layer of meaning. But once the twist is revealed, it wasn't scary anymore. It was just sad. I just felt bad for this person and all of the stuff that was going on in his head. I think that some people will really enjoy the twist and other people will find it really disappointing. I almost wish that the ending had something more twisted and terror-filled in it. I mean, like, When in doubt, just throw in some killer clowns, right? I'm sure something could have been figured out. I was really scared of the janitor and the boyfriend. I thought someone was gonna just get straight up murdered. And you learn the real meaning of I'm thinking of ending things. It's not with his girlfriend, it's with his own life. Yeah, I wouldn't say I was disappointed by the ending, but like, it didn't slap as hard as the middle did, which is kind of weird for a book. Like, usually the middle is sort of the less interesting part, but like here it was like the beginning and the ending were less interesting than the middle. I also want to say I'm not too sure how I felt about the mental health aspect of this book. I know a lot of sort of thriller, mystery, horror stories rely on mental illness as kind of a plot point or something to add dramatic effect when that's not really kosher. I don't know how to feel about how it was handled in this book, but I would love to hear anybody else's opinions on how they felt about it. Yep, that's it. That was this book. It is very strange. It gave me a stomach ache. And that's about all I have to say about it. Let me know if you've read this because what the hell?